2024-2025 summer crops marketing and the 2025 winter wheat production. According to the second round of crops, livestock and fisheries assessment report of the 12th of April 2025, the country has adequate grain reserves at national level. In the interim, resources will be made available to the Grain Marketing Board to facilitate timely payments for anticipated grain deliveries. Meanwhile, the construction of 14 grain silo depots is making steady progress, with 13 across the country being work in progress, and having the Kwekwe depot having been completed and officially commissioned by His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. The 2025 cotton buying season is set to begin on the 1st of June, with prices per grade to be announced upon completion of ongoing consultations. To support the season's operations, preparations including the establishment of 211 permanent buying points and 476 mobile buying points have been completed. As of the 16th of May 2025, a total of 189 million kilograms of tobacco had been sold at an average of $3.38 per kilogram. This represents a 21% increase in volume compared to the same period last season, when 151 million kilograms were sold at an average price of United States dollars $3.52 per kilogram. Under the 2025 winter cereals plan, the production targets are set at 600,000 metric tons of wheat from 120,000 hectares, 39,000 metric tons of barley from 6,500 hectares, and approximately 236,000 metric tons of potatoes from around 8,700 hectares. With respect to wheat production, a total of 29,372 hectares have been planted, distributed as follows: Mashonaland West Province 9,751, Mashonaland Central 5,524, Mashonaland East 4,095, Manicaland 1,952, Midlands Province 3,081, Mashingo 1,031, Matabeleland North 1,525, and Matabeleland South Province 2,413. Cabinet noted the review report of the 45th Independence Day celebrations and the 2025 Children's Party. The 45th Independence Day celebrations and the 2025 Children's Party were held in Gokwe North District in Midlands Province, with the main celebrations at Nembudzia, Growth Point, and the Children's Party at Nyamuroro High School. The government of Zimbabwe undertook significant preparatory works, including the construction of a 2,000-seater stadium. In addition to the stadium, various legacy projects were implemented in order to improve the lives of people in Midlands Province and Gokwe North District in particular. The projects included the construction and rehabilitation of education infrastructure, such as classrooms, hostels, and laboratories, as well as upgrades to cultural heritage sites, liberation struggle memorials, and public facilities. The government of Zimbabwe also made significant investments in health infrastructure as follows: the refurbishment of School of Nursing, the upgrading of the VVIP ward, and the construction of a mortuary. a total of 20 sites offering telemedicine facilities were established and internet connectivity was also expanded. The respective rural health facilities and Gokwe North District Hospital was also rehabilitated. Furthermore, water and sanitation projects, including the drilling of boreholes and the repair of existing borehole infrastructure, was a total of 57 village business units were established and 37 boreholes were repaired, with 12 of them being solarized. These initiatives aimed at improving the quality of life for residents in Gokwe North District, aligning with the government's mantra of leaving no one and no place behind. As an ongoing initiative, the government will undertake continuous reviews to monitor progress on the completion of all legacy projects in all provinces that have already hosted the Independence Day celebrations and the Children's Party events, ensuring timely implementation, efficient project delivery, and accountability. Cabinet considered and approved the criteria for the selection of the venue for the hosting of the annual Independence Day and the Children's Party celebrations. In the past, the Independence Day celebrations and the Children's Party events were consolidated in Harare. Notwithstanding this precedent, the Second Republic's devolution agenda catalyzed a transformative shift, decentralizing these events and instituting a rotational format across the 10 provinces. The rotation of provinces hosting Independence Day and Children's Party celebrations has seen 5 provinces take turns hosting the events in the following order: Harare in 2021, Bulawayo 2022, Mashonaland Central 2023, Manicaland Province 2024, Midlands Province 2025. Cabinet approved the criteria to determine future hosts for Independence Day celebrations and Children's Party events based on the National Infrastructure Deficit Index. This prioritizes provinces with the greatest infrastructure development needs, among others that have not yet hosted the Uhuru celebrations. The goal is to utilize these events to drive infrastructure growth in targeted areas. In accordance with the approved criteria, the Independence Day celebrations and Children's Party are scheduled to be held for the year 2026 in Matabeleland South Province and in Masvingo Province in 2027. Cabinet considered and approved the Urban State Land Management Policy. The Urban State Land Management Policy is a significant step towards addressing Zimbabwe's urban land management challenges. It aims to ensure that there is better value for land resources, enhance accountability, improve efficiency, and usher in a professional land management system aligned to Vision 2030. The policy addresses rapid urbanization issues such as dysfunctional settlements, speculative activities, and land barons, while protecting citizens from fraudulent land deals. It clarifies stakeholder roles, provides operational guidelines, and promotes efficient and effective urban state land management. The policy is developed on 6 interconnected pillars, namely governance, decentralization, innovation and technology, procedures and processes, regulatory framework and enforcement, infrastructure development and planning, and compliance. These pillars promote transparency, accountability, efficiency, and compliance, and aim to foster orderly urban development, protect public interests, and enhance the quality of life for urban residents. The policy also promotes innovative financing mechanisms public-private partnerships and community engagement to support urban development, ultimately creating sustainable, safe, and environmentally friendly urban environments. The policy has specific objectives and strategies, including leveraging digital tools for efficient land management, establishing clear procedures for land administration, and strengthening regulatory frameworks, developing essential urban services, and ensuring compliance with regulatory standards. In terms of the infrastructure development thematic area of the National Development Strategy 1, the Minister of State for National Security highlighted the following achievements by reader. The rehabilitation of the 4-kilometer Nzombuda Bridge Road in Mashonaland Central Province is ongoing. Top slab construction of approach A and B of Kambanje Bridge in Mudzi District, Mashonaland East Province is in progress. Wall construction and backfilling of the Mabori Amco structure in Berengwa District is almost complete. And land for the Phoenix Drug Horse Irrigation Scheme in Berengwa District, Midlands Province has been identified and drawings have been completed. And the selection of beneficiaries for the Presidential Solarization Program is ongoing in all the 8 rural provinces. Under the Economic Growth and Stability pillar, in terms of NDS 1, the Minister of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs highlighted the following achievements under her purview. Prospecting and pegging of 8 special grants is being completed at the following provincial sites: in Nyanga, Mupure, Mashonaland West, Kadoma in Mashonaland West, in Mangura, Mashonaland West, for gold and copper, in Wedza, Mashonaland East, for gold, Matabeleland North, gold, Manikaland, copper. 5 veterans citizens comprising 372 members have been facilitated in acquiring mining documents. The establishment of the Sinanga Photographic Safari in Wange, Matabeleland North is ongoing, and the operationalization of the Nyadora Farm and Singleton Farm projects in Macheke and Chikomba is on target. Under the Human Capital Development and Innovation pillar of the National Development Strategy 1, 600 war veterans have since been capacitated with skills to make soap, detergents, engine cleaners, degreasers, foam bath, and Vaseline. In terms of the Human Capital Development and Innovation pillar, the Minister of Skills, Audit and Innovation highlighted the following achievements under his purview. A draft national scholarship policy has been produced. The assessment of the career guidance landscape in Zimbabwe is ongoing. The assessment of technical and vocational skills training facilities for persons with disabilities was conducted in Kadoma, Gweru, Bulawayo, Mutare, Masvingo, and Harare. The cyber security and digital skills training was conducted at the University of Zimbabwe, Harare Institute of Technology, Spaces College, and St. Peter's Kubatana Vocational Training Center. Under the legislative program, Cabinet considered and approved the MOU between the Republic of Zimbabwe and the People's Republic of China on the paired hospital cooperation mechanism. The MOU seeks to promote cooperation in the fields of health. More specifically, the MOUs will establish a cooperative relationship between Parenyato Group of Hospitals and the Hunan Provincial People's Hospital of the People's Republic of China in the field of respiratory and critical care medicine. The objective is to strengthen construction of respiratory and critical care medicine facilities in Zimbabwe and to improve local capacity on prevention, control, diagnosis, and treatment of COVID-19, as well as airway management and respiratory support for critical patients. Cabinet received and noted the report on the visit to Russia and Belarus by His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, who participated at the 80th anniversary of Victory Day, which was commemorated in Moscow, in the Russian Federation on the 9th of May 2025. The Victory Day marks the historic triumph of the Soviet Union over Nazi Germany during the Second World War. The President of the Russian Federation, His Excellency President Vladimir Putin, presided over the commemorations, which were also attended by heads of state and government from Europe, Africa, Asia, and Latin America. His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and President Putin held a bilateral meeting during which they discussed initiatives to deepen relations between the two nations. Russia reiterated its support for Zimbabwe's bid to join the BRICS organization and its new development bank. The heads of state agreed to identify alternative payment systems in order to boost bilateral trade. On his part, His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, restated Zimbabwe's strategic location as a logistics and manufacturing hub for Russian products for industrialization purposes. From Russia, His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, undertook a state visit to Belarus from the 11th to the 15th of May 2025 at the invitation of the President of Belarus, His Excellency Alexander Lukashenko. In a bilateral meeting, the two leaders discussed cooperation in several key areas, including agriculture, media, industry, education and technology transfer, health and disaster management. The foreign ministers of Zimbabwe and Belarus signed a roadmap for strategic cooperation for the period of 2026 to 2030, providing for reciprocal visits and elevation of their bilateral cooperation framework to a binational by 2030. Other ministers also signed MOUs, which includes the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, the Minister of Women Affairs, the Minister of Finance and Economic Development. They also signed a number of MOUs which covers the following areas: disaster risk management, visa exemption for holders of diplomatic and service passports, media and communication, tourism, small and medium-scale enterprises, and waste management. Letters of intent committing to cooperation on revamping healthcare provision, starting with the rehabilitation of the Parenyato group of hospitals, was also signed. A business roundtable comprising Zimbabwean and Belarusian business leaders met to explore cooperation in the mining, dairy, machinery, and processed food sectors. Cabinet received and approved the Iran report as presented by the Honorable Vice President, Retired General Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga. The Honorable Vice President Chiwenga led a delegation to the 3rd Iran-Africa Economic Conference and the 7th Iran Expo held in Tehran from the 27th of April to the 1st of May 2025. The conference was aimed at enhancing economic relations between Iran and Africa, focusing on agriculture, mining, science, and health sectors, which promote socio-economic development. The outcomes of the visit include the operationalization of the steering committee to oversee implementation of the following MOUs: the establishment of a pharmaceutical plant in Zimbabwe by a pharmaceutical investment company and NatFarm, the setting up of an Iran tractor manufacturing company plant in Zimbabwe, the development of a sustainable payment system between our respective central banks, the finalization of equipment lease agreements, and preparation for Zimbabwe to participate at the Global Investment Tourism Expo in India from the 23rd to the 25th of August 2025. Cabinet also received a noted report on the official visit to Rome, Italy, which was presented by the Honorable Vice President, retired Dr. C.G.D. Chwenga. The Honorable Vice President undertook an official visit to Rome, Italy from the 1st to the 5th of May 2025, where he discussed key economic and diplomatic issues as part of the Second Republic re-engagement and engagement drive. Zimbabwe enjoys sound trade relations with Italy, and in 2024, the countries imported goods worth United States dollars 31.7 million, while exports to Italy were valued at 34.2 million United States dollars. It is anticipated that once the country ratifies the bilateral investment promotion and protection agreement with Italy, more investments with Italian investors will be unlocked. The Vice President also met with the Food and Agriculture Organization Director General and discussed strategies to enhance the country's food security, irrigation infrastructure, agricultural data systems, and overall productivity. Zimbabwe is establishing a cultural lounge at the FAO headquarters. The Vice President also held bilateral meetings with the Archbishop, the Vatican Secretary for Relations with States, during which he reiterated Zimbabwe's commitment to maintaining strong relations with the Vatican. On his part, the Archbishop commended the abolition of the death sentence by Zimbabwe and pledged to support the request to the Vatican for the recognition of early Zimbabwean missionaries. The Vice President visited major religious and historical sites in Rome and Assisi, including St. Peter's Basilica and the Colosseum, as part of efforts to promote cultural diplomacy and religious tourism between Zimbabwe and the Vatican. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for presenting today's Cabinet highlights. We now move to the first round of 3 questions emanating from today's Cabinet. Then we'll ask the respective ministers to respond. Over to you, colleagues. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Ameda Murwira from the Herald. My question relates to issue on urban state land management policy, where there was a reference to land barons, illegal settlement, and so forth. My question is, why do we perennially have reactive responses instead of being proactive? Usually we quarrel over a presence of illegal settlements and how to deal with them. Why don't we have mechanisms to detect and stop illegal settlement before they sprout? And one quick example, that would come to mind is the quarrel over, is it Cloverdale in the rural Koromons, where people are being evicted? Why not make it part of our policy to detect and stop illegal settlement? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Any? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Owen Mandova from ZBC. I've got 2 questions. The first one relates to the partnership which is there between China and Zimbabwe to upgrade the Parenya to a group of hospitals. If you may kindly provide more details pertaining to the timelines, because there are concerns that the hospital is not up to scratch in terms of providing effective medical. I'm sure this is good news to people. If you can provide timelines and as to when is that going to happen. Then my second question relates to the issue of payments to wheat farmers. There's a general fear that some farmers, because payments are coming late, so they are actually resorting to grow other cash crops, because obviously one would need to get their money instantly. How is government going to improve the payment to these key farmers who are critical for food security? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. Perhaps I'll start with the question to Honorable Garwe to respond to urban state land management policy. The question was, why don't we have mechanisms that are not reactive? And
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Allow me to thank the gentleman from the Herald for such a pertinent question. The Second Republic is not being reactive. In fact, we are being very proactive. You may want to know that the issue of illegal settlements and land barons was born in the First Republic. And during that time, we had a manual that we were using to run urban state land. The Second Republic has seen it fit that we need now to gravitate from just having a manual to developing policies that will provide a framework upon which we will have governance issues and decentralization in line with the devolution. We will have innovation and technology put in place. We will have procedures and processes that needs to be followed when people are applying for land and developing land. We have planning and compliance, infrastructure development, that we have environments, urban environments that are friendly. A friendly urban environment is an environment where we've got a road network that is modern, we've got water, sewer, reticulation systems, we've got electricity systems, and many other facilities that speak to Vision 2030. So government has seen it fit to come up with a policy framework that will be communicated to the public, that will speak to what is expected of any developer if he wants or she wants to develop. This, in our view as government, is going to provide the keyword that we require to deal with the disease of land barons and informal settlements. The keyword is in the regulatory framework. This is the primary keyword that we are providing. The secondary keyword, of course, being taking people to courts and eventually in prison. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure on Mandova, your questions relate to further details related to the China-Zimbabwe agreement. What generally starts is the MOU, but in terms of internal processes, you have the Attorney General's office working on such MOUs, and the Public Agreements Advisory Committee, and also the Cabinet Committee are responsible for legislation overseeing such processes. And I can expand a lot more into the agreements. The obligations of the Republic of Zimbabwe in terms of Article 4 provides for the Republic of Zimbabwe, which shall be to assign at least one senior manager of the hospital as member of a joint expert committee and assign a fixed contract responsible for coordination and commission. Part of the obligations of the People's Republic of China is to provide and organize a JEC and assign a fixed contact person responsible for communication and coordination, and to send experts teams to carry out on-site guidance and short-term teaching activities at Parenyato Group of Hospitals, providing training courses and guidance to medical staff and departments of respiratory and critical care medicines, intensive care, as well as infection management. The funding and financing includes about 5,270,000 to support the activities outlined in this agreement. And I can assure you, having signed this, having the process gone through PAC, having the process gone through cabinet processes, now we are working on the implementation of the steering committee which will be set up by the two respective countries. And the timeline is not more than 2 years for the setting up and operationalization of everything else. And we are very confident that we could have perhaps within a space of a year, because we are more than eager. This is good news to the people of Zimbabwe, and we are cooperating and collaborating with different countries in terms of the recapitalization, human capital development between Zimbabwe and many countries, including the last agreement which we had in Belarus, where we were also working together with the Belarusian government in order to capacitate and also to improve in terms of service delivery at Pariranyatwa Group of Hospital, being the pilot project, which is very key given the centrality of the Pariranyatwa Group of Hospitals as a central and referral hospital. The second question is in terms of farmer payments. Part of the discussions today in Cabinet also prioritized the payment of outstanding farmer payments, and it has been agreed that the Ministry of Finance will work together with the Ministry of Lands and Agriculture to finalize outstanding payments to all the farmers. For it is of great importance that when farmers deliver produce to the Grain Marketing Board, they are paid. So a priority framework has been put in place between the two ministries, and I'm very confident that the two respective ministries will be in a position to finalize all outstanding payments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ministers, for responding to those questions. We now move to the second and last round of 3 questions. Then we'll ask ministers to respond to the questions. Colleagues. Yes, Murgira.
Thank you very much, Secretary. With your indulgence, if I can be allowed to make a follow-up. It is in the context of the land management policy. I just wanted to ask that we have a case in our midst where that of Cloverdale. I wanted to find out if the government is aware of the case, and if so, what is the government position given what is happening at Cloverdale, and some have even questioned the timing, people being evicted, cold weather, and so forth and so forth. I thank you.
I'll respond to you, Shamaida. We didn't discuss that item in cabinet today. But you know, we have a very independent and impartial judiciary, which makes decisions. And I'm sure we can provide a platform for you to discuss the rest of the details with the Honorable Minister. But according to what we know, is that a decision was made by the judiciary. That was not a subject under discussion today in cabinet. Thank you.
Yes, any further questions?
Any other questions? questions on land management policy. That was the item that we discussed today. That shows government taking a lead in order to correct historical shortcomings and also being proactive, not reactive.
If we are happy, we have come to the end of today's post-cabinet press briefing. Thank you very much, honorable ministers and colleagues.